Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. This is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, with the real estate market cooling off, many home sellers don't want to wait months to sell their homes or worry about their contracts failing for a number of different reasons. Would it be worth it to sell their home to an investor to expedite the sale?
Well, Richard, I'm seeing more and more home sellers opting for just that because they want that certainty. With the market being softer than it's been, even in the summer, usually the summer is just roaring. But right now, we've got 25% more inventory, more choices. There's more than half the sellers lowering their price. And buyers are coming out to buy, but it's not a huge surge right now. It's about the same as it's been for the last couple of years. And according to Realtor.com, just on a national basis, over 13% of home sellers are actually opting to sell their home to an investor rather than do the traditional sales process. What do I mean by that? What is an investor? What do they do? What makes them different than a buyer that's going to move into the house and stay? I think the only difference is a majority of them are going to resell the home. They're going to buy it. Maybe they'll increase the price and turn around and resell it. Those are called flippers. However, there are some investors where it's almost like you're partnering with one of those investors and they actually come in and pay for the improvements and you get to participate on the upside. And those investors will really pay full market value for the home. And it's really interesting to see those kind of deals. So that's part of what we do is we sit down with our home sellers right out of the gate and we'll have offers. We'll actually have offers for them where they get to decide which is the best offer for them, or maybe they want to roll the dice and put it on the open market and hope that they get more. At the end of the day, it's up to them, right? And I just myself, I sold one of the properties that we had a little condo on the west side last year, and I sold it to an investor. And the price that they came in at was pretty darn close to market value, actually. The reason I sold was that the HOA dues were too high. I loved the property. It was a great rental, but the HOA dues just kept, they weren't just slightly going up. They were like doubling every year. And I'm like, okay, there's obviously no end to this. It's going to keep going. And it just wasn't a good investment for us anymore. So, but the experience was great. Some of these investors can close in 2 to 3 weeks, all cash, no appraisal. They're in the house for anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour and a half, and you get paid in a few weeks, which is really wonderful. Don't have to deal with buyers and crazy inspections and the worry of the deal falling out. So I did a little bit of research about where somebody asked me this question today, and I thought it was kind of cool. Where are the buyers coming from that are looking for homes in Colorado? And that was kind of a surprise to me. More than 41% of the people looking at Colorado homes are coming from out of state. And then another almost 30% are in state. There's a whole bunch of people coming down from Denver to the Colorado Springs market or other areas of Colorado. And then there's another 25% that are looking right here in town, like they're either moving up to a different kind of home. I spoke with one seller yesterday where her husband wants acreage and more garage. So they're going to make the in-town transition from one house to another. But the biggest number of all of these of where the buyers are coming from, believe it or not, Richard, is Arizona. Isn't that a surprise?
I expected to hear California 100%. I am surprised at Arizona.
Yeah. But I think this time of year, it gets really hot there and people can't take it anymore. Our summers are pretty spectacular. But at the end of the day, most home sellers really don't like the uncertainty of worrying about not just getting a contract. That's step number one. Once you get a contract, then they're going to do an inspection. I had one just a week ago where first of all, I had a big cat fight with the agent as to I said, if you're going to do the sewer scope, please bring a plumbing company. Don't have Joe, Billy, Bob inspector do it, because I've had so many problems with inspectors doing sewer scopes. And I got into a huge fight with her. She was like, wanted to draw the line in the sand about her inspector was more qualified. And I said, all right, show it to me. And she couldn't do it. So then she finally asked the buyer, and the buyer's like, yeah, fine, I'm fine with bringing in a plumbing company. So when they looked at the sewer line, the newer homes have a clean out, right? It's sort of like a pipe. So there's one pipe that goes from the plumbing out to the city main, right? But there's these clean outs now that they're putting in yards that provide the plumbing companies with access to the sewer line. And sometimes there's one, sometimes there's two. In this case, there was one, and the one pipe was fractured, not the sewer line, but the stick out or the clean out that stuck out from above. So one company's bid was between $3,600 and $4,200. And she was not happy about that. So I said, let's get a second opinion. So we brought in another plumbing company, and they looked at it. They said, there's only one clean out. That year of house, they didn't have two clean outs because of the code. And so the other guy was going to charge an extra $800 to poke holes in the yard to find the second clean out that wasn't there. Right. And so we went to the new plumbing company, and the actual cost of the repair was, instead of $4,200, was under $700. So you've got to shop around. You can't just take these requests after an inspection at face value. And that takes some time, more uncertainty with the sale. A lot of people hate showings. They hate the process of dealing with people coming through their house. They don't like the fact that sometimes the buyers may not qualify for financing, even though the lender said that they're fine. Or, I had one that, we were 3 weeks into the contract, same property twice. The buyers bailed out. Now that was a unique property. It's owned by the VA. It has lots of repairs that have to get done. The VA only offers their homes as is. But we're on our third contract on that house now, hoping this one will go through, but who knows? So that takes months and months and months to go through that. Then you got to worry about the appraisal. So if the buyer's getting a loan, there has to be a licensed third party that comes in and gives an opinion of value. And as long as it matches the sales price, you've passed one part of it. Another part of it could be if the buyer is getting a government loan like VA, FHA, or some of the other government loans. There's certain house criteria that the house has to meet in order for them to get that type of loan. So things like peeling paint on the outside, missing outlet covers, broken windows, trip hazards, fences falling down, deep window wells where kids and critters could fall in, anything that looks like a safety issue, the appraiser could mandate that it gets fixed so the buyer can get their loan. Well, the problem is the contract doesn't say who fixes it. Most of the time it lands in the seller's lap to get that done, right? So you want to make sure that your house will pass that kind of inspection before you accept a contract like that. So those are just some of the things that can introduce uncertainty into a transaction. And what if they don't get financing? What's nice about accepting an investor offer is they're almost always cash, or they are private funding where the money definitely is there. So you don't have to worry about either an appraisal or the loan going through. The only thing you have to worry about is if there's any repair issues. And some of these offers are actually pretty good. So we show up with our home sellers with a whole fistful of offers, and they can at least look at that. And if they don't want those offers right now, if they want to try the open market, that's fine. It's okay. Some of those offers are still available down the road if the normal contracting, the normal sales process doesn't work out for them. So if you are thinking of making a move and you're interested in getting cash offers on your home, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. You can reach her at 719-301-3900. And we're talking, Barb, about whether or not it's worth it to sell your home to an investor.
Well, Richard, most people assume that if an investor is buying their house, their offer is going to be super low ball, like steal half their equity. And actually, the offers that we're bringing, most of them are pretty darn close to full market value. So it's not always true. And of course, most home sellers really want the most money, but some of these investors will partner with the seller to help the seller maximize their price, and both the investor and the seller get the benefit of that. And we can sit down and explain those offers to you live in person. There's no cost or obligation, but it's a way to solve the problem without dealing with the traditional sales process. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call at 719-301-3900. Obviously, our goal is to get you the most money when you sell your home, and we have multiple options to make that happen. Richard?
Barb, you and your team are the only company I would recommend to people out there who are thinking of selling their homes. So whether you want a cash investor, an offer like that, or live in the home and have a seller and buyer meet up through Barb, give her a call, 719-301-3900, or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Time for the lightning round, your hot new listings, Barb.
All right. Well, the first one, beautiful Briargate home with an abundance of gleaming hardwood floors on 8230 Camfield Circle. Very well maintained. It actually has granite counters and stainless steel appliances, newer furnace, newer water heater, newer roof. Great location in Briargate, priced at $439,999. Really cool investment home up in the casino country of Cripple Creek, priced at $292. This is actually broken up into an Airbnb. The top is an Airbnb, the bottom is a rental, so it's an income property. We have a great home on Highway 24 in Woodland Park, priced at $299 with spectacular views. A home owned by the VA, which would be a really great investment property on 919 Rancher Drive in Fountain, priced at $342,500. We have two properties out in Rush right next to each other. One's on 2 acres, priced at $379,999. The other one's on 9 acres. Both of them back to open space, beautiful, quiet, great location, actually, if you like peace and quiet, and right down the street from some fabulous new schools. We have a great rancher on the west side on Tower Road, priced at $499,999. A beautiful home in Walking Stick in Pueblo on 9 Royal Troon, priced at $565. An amazing Southwest property on Beckett Drive, priced at $695, over 4,000 square feet. A fabulous patio home that backs to the golf course on Spanish Oak Terrace in Briargate at $735. A great townhome investment opportunity. What's cool about this is if you're even an investor, you can buy this home and get VA financing with only 10% down. This home is priced, they just lowered the price actually to $365. And then another Briargate home on Zurich Drive, 4-bedroom, 3-bath at $454,999. Fabulous 2-story over by Peterson Air Force Base in Claremont Ranch at $479,999 on Killdeer Court. Great home on Big Valley, just lowered the price to $699. This home has a fabulous detached garage, kind of man cave thing. Gorgeous home in Briargate on Coberdale Court, on a cul-de-sac, spectacular kitchen, gorgeous remodeled master bath, beautiful home, covered patio, priced at $659. And then a beautiful home in Broadmoor Bluffs that backs to NORAD at $684,999. Another one on True Vista, just lowered the price at $699, over 3,000 square feet, close to County Line Road. So it's up in Monument, 20245 True Vista. Spectacular, gorgeous custom home on Open Skyway in gated High Forest Ranch at $2,095,000, and a great lot on Hidden Valley. And if you'd like to find out more, go to barbhasthebuyers.com or give us a call, 719-301-3900. Richard?
Your real estate voice. It airs every weekend. If you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Remember, you can see replays of the show by going to barbhasthebuyers.com or YouTube, and you can listen on the podcast on all of the popular platforms like Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, many others. Thank you for listening. And again, to reach out to Barb, call her at 719-301-3900. Barb, a great show. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk with you next week.
Thank you. You too.